This is Off Track. Hello and welcome to another Off Track with Hinch and Rossi. 2025, guys, it's finally here. It's finally here, and it's our first show of the new year. Does that mean like it's a new season of the show? How does the show work? Like, do we go by years?
Actually, I don't know, because we're going to record Tuesday's episode after this, but it will come out first. So this will be the second. And actually last week's came out on the second. So this is our third of the new year.
You want to start over, James?
No,
Hi, guys.
Keep this. I love this video. This is the first one we've recorded in the new year.
That's what I was going to say. Welcome to the first time we've actually recorded in 2025, which I think makes a difference. I think that's an important thing to delineate. Yeah, we're recording on Monday, so yeah, we've got to record Tuesdays later, but whatever. It's the first time since we've all been speaking together in the new year, so welcome to the new year, guys. How's 2025 treating you so far?
Already it up. 2026 is my year, though.
Hey man, I'm with you on that. I think you're going to do great in 2026.
Use that joke every year.
I know. And
there's a lot of jokes that he uses every time the opportunity comes up to use them, but it's just kind of his thing. He's got his bucket of 15 jokes, 4 of which I steal pretty regularly.
Yeah.
And the rest he just reuses ad nauseum until they're not even really funny
does he
anymore.
have in his bucket, is there any funny ones?
No.
Not yet.
No.
Not yet. Still working on those. That's, again, 2026, really coming out strong with some
You
funny
may
stuff.
not know anything about racing, but at least you don't have good jokes.
At least you can't write good jokes. Sorry, pal.
And I don't edit well.
You know what? I'm going to give you a rare compliment here because I listen to other podcasts, I listen to other shows, and some of them that are similar format to this, like just people randomly bullshit, have like some like way bigger than ours, making way more money than we do. By that, I mean money.
Yeah.
And there are some very strange editing decisions on some of these shows. And it made me realize that you actually are better at this than some of the most successful podcast editors in the business, which doesn't say much for this business and the industry as a whole.
That's why you guys pay me the medium bucks.
Medium's a stretch, man. We pay you a very nominal fee for the amount of work that you put in. But we appreciate it. We appreciate that you're doing that.
All right, I'll take it.
You get more on the back end, I think, than the average producer
I've been
slash
skimming
editor.
money from both of you guys for years, so
that's probably true. You do have access to all of our credit cards and social security numbers, so you probably own a couple cars that actually we finance and don't even know it.
No,
good times. Alex, how was New Year's?
It was fine. Just hung out, just watched football, made some food.
Did you make anything good?
I made a blueberry tres leches with lavender meringue kisses with a homemade caramel and whipped cream. So, yeah.
Was it homemade whipped cream?
No.
That seems like the easiest of those things to home make, and you chose to just...
It would have been, but...
You just whipped the cream.
We didn't have enough whole milk. Or...
half and half?
Whole milk. No. Heavy whipping cream.
That's the one.
Be called for whipped cream.
For whipped cream.
But yeah, anyways, making a meringue is a son of a bitch, but I figured it out, man. You just got to be very patient, which is not really my MO, but
no, but figuring stuff out is. So it doesn't surprise me that you figured it out. What is a meringue? I don't even know what a meringue is. I've heard of like lemon meringue pie, but I don't actually know what that means.
So meringue, like what constitutes a meringue?
Yeah, sure.
It's essentially egg whites and sugar.
Okay. So it's like a filling?
No, it's a
topping.
Those little cookies, the famous Parisian cookies. What are those called, Tim?
Macarons or
macaroons.
Yeah.
So the shell of that, not the filling, the shell, that kind of crispy exterior but soft still. That's meringue.
Oh, okay. All right. So wait, if you have a lemon meringue pie, there's like crispy.
If you have a lemon meringue pie, you have a pie.
No,
amen.
so like America has ruined.
Got it.
If you have a lemon meringue like dessert, it should be like lemon custard with a meringue topping, so like a slightly crispy topping.
Got it. Okay.
Lemon meringue pie is the custard with some sort of fluffy marshmallow ready whip in a pie crust.
God, tell us how you really feel.
I'm just saying, like, it's hard to make, so like people don't
make it. Yeah,
it's a French like art, like food chemical science type thing to make it.
So now that you figured it out, are you going to be making more meringues in your future?
I will make it for special occasions because it's like it tastes pretty good and it's cool to be able to like produce it.
Yeah,
that's how I feel about making creme brulee. It's just like
it's a son of a bitch. So probably
that's how you feel about making babies.
I've only done that the one time,
right? But it was a lot of work. But it's cool.
It wasn't a lot of work.
Not on my end.
Not to make the baby.
Not to make it, I suppose. I guess I was talking about turning it into an adult. Which
that's been a bitch.
Yeah. All right, Tim, how was your New Year's?
It was good. It was speaking of, it was Hazel's birthday.
Yeah.
So we hung out. We had cake. The nephews came over, played with a train set. You know, all the stuff you'd usually. I took her to the Idle George Museum because we were still back in Indy. They have that Christmas train thing that we always go see every year. IMS was even represented. I don't know if you guys saw that.
This is the first I've heard
what
of
you're talking
anything
about.
that you're saying. Yeah.
They do this like every Christmas. The Idle George Museum downtown in Indy does this like jolly train.
James?
No. I know about Newfields and
Southwestern
that's it.
art.
I know about
It's a good
Sullivan
museum.
Hardware
You guys-
store that has the train in the parking lot.
You guys should, maybe experience the city that you both have lived in now
Idle
for a while.
George.
Idle George. It's the
Was it
Idle
because
George
he was
family.
like lazy?
No, it's spelled with an E. It's a really rich family. Went to school with a couple of the Idle Georges.
No, but no relation to the Georges.
No. Idle
Okay.
George is one word. EITLEJORG.
Oh wow, I assume that was like a hyphenated.
Oh,
joint.
that's I call it like the Telegorg where the IMAX is.
Nailed it. You nailed it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
I mean, I've walked through there. I walked through there to get cocktails and popcorn.
We've definitely been there to watch Top Gun.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Idle George Museum downtown.
A Telegorg.
The Intelligor.
The Intelligorg Museum.
Tom Cruise's house.
I'll let Lily and Max Intelligorg know that's their names now.
I parked there for a White River concert. I know where that is.
Okay.
Oh,
It's a great museum. You should go there for more than parking.
Never
Cool
go to the
story.
museum. No.
They have a lot of Southwestern art. That's
Weird in Indiana.
They just it's a cool museum.
I feel like I actually went to
They
see
do a thing where they have like a massive room full of train sets, but the stuff around the train sets are built to be like representations of different parts of America and Indiana. So they have IMS with a train track going through it. They have the Lucas Oil, then they have like Las Vegas and Pioneer Towns. It's cool. It's like a thing they do every Christmas. So we took Hazel there for her birthday and then got ice cream.
Did you meet Tom Cruise while you were there?
No, he was not.
He wasn't home.
He wasn't at the Telegorg Museum for some reason.
Tom Cruise's house. Yeah,
He must winter in Florida.
he's got several houses. I'm sure.
I have met him once on top
on a
of
ski
mountain.
hill. Yeah. I love this story. I'm
just gonna leave it there
on here, but okay. It's a great story, though.
All right, ski hills, James, Mr. You're a big alpine ski guy now, huh?
Big ski guy. 3
ski
days on the hill in the last 22 years, and I'm
How
telling
many
you,
bone breaks?
0. Well, wait,
It's
from
a mountain.
Yeah. Sorry.
Right.
Too soon?
Yeah. Got back on the slopes. 20 plus years since I'd done it, and I mean, I got to be honest with you, not the smartest place to get to try it again for the first time. Like went up one of the big gondolas at Jackson Hole, didn't even start at the bunny hill. Was just like, let's just go for it. Got to the top one, looked down the first hill. I'm like, blue squares here are a little more aggressive than they are in Ontario. And, but no, it was great, man. I fell once in the whole 3 days, which was pretty good. I have learned that my wife, my brother-in-law, and our friend Dan, who we went with, are all very, very good skiers. And
I noticed you left Cassidy off on that list.
Well, so Cassidy, that was only her second time skiing. So she stayed on, she was doing lessons for like the first day, didn't ski the second day, and then saw her on the third day. And yeah, she was doing very well for her second time ever doing it. But yeah, like Becky and Evan obviously have skied. Actually, I think Becky said, oh no, Becky went skiing with you in Tahoe like 2 years ago. And that was her first time in 8-ish years.
That was fun. We should do another Tahoe trip.
We should do that. It was fun. Now I can ski. But no, it was great, man. I had a lot of fun. It was funny though. Like I was getting down the hill.
Après ski part.
Yes, that was also a good part of it.
Just the après.
Just the après. I'm an après man myself.
You call it's après waking up. Yeah. You're really good at just waking up and going straight to the bar.
Après déjeuner. Yeah.
So no, like the first couple, the whole first day, like I would get down the hill, but I wish there had been a camera on us skiing, because you would have seen like everyone else like looking like they know what they were doing, and then me just like arms and like legs really far apart, but like managed to make it down. But man, was it hard on the legs when you haven't done that in a long time? So
actually, I want to talk about this a little bit before we get into Alex's. Well, no, I guess we already covered Alex's. You guys can't really ski as drivers. Alex, I know you have like a carve out in your contract, right? But most drivers have it explicitly stated in their contract that they're not allowed to ski, right?
Yeah, it's the no fun clause, right? So it's anything fun. Skiing, snowboarding, wakeboarding, wake surfing. Well, actually, wake surfing, I think, was too new a sport for that one to be in there. Rollerblading, BMXing, dirt bikes, skydiving, bungee jumping, any of that cool extreme stuff out. And that's why I stopped.
Would just like trigger my anxiety is basically like, yeah, it's a Tim fun clause.
I've always found it interesting, like how many F1 guys still ski in the winter. Like
I think a lot of people there carve it out too. Like that was kind of where I got the notion that was okay.
Right.
Because skiing in Europe is a pretty big deal. It's pretty popular. All countries have mountains that you can ski. So I think that they all kind of just do that. And it's very much the unspoken rule. Like my contract has it, but it's like specified as no off-piste.
Extreme. Yeah.
So like as long as I'm not on a closed run or in the backcountry or something, it's fine. So
you grew up skiing. I don't know if we've ever talked about this on the podcast before, but like you had to, I remember you saying, and keep in mind, I'm drunk most of the time we hang out, but like you had to make the choice between racing or skiing at some point.
Who's got lawnmower outside the house?
I'm gonna mute my okay. They know whenever I record.
Well, I can tell you, no one has a lawnmower going in Indiana right now. Considering there's 8 inches of snow.
Oh God, I'm so happy about that. We'll get back to that.
It wasn't really a choice so much as kind of when I convinced my parents that I want to go karting. They were like, "All right, if you're going to go karting, it's all school, all go karting. Like, there's no other things you're doing." Like, I played.
You have no time for anything else,
right? I played baseball. I played I didn't play, but I was on the football team and did other sports. Yeah. And they were like, "No, if we're gonna spend this sort of money, you're only gonna do this at all times." So that was kind of it. It wasn't like there was a career wishbone why where it was like you have to choose one or the other. It was just more like you gotta focus and give up all other hobbies. Which
wishbone's a sensitive word for me. Can we just say fork in the road?
Sorry. I said Y after I said wishbone.
You're right. Mine was more of an A shape. So how old were you when you started skiing?
How old?
Yeah.
I mean, as far back as I can remember, dude.
Yeah, like you were like 5, 3, 4, 5.
4, yeah.
And then
and my mom was awesome about it because so we lived. The closest mountain was probably 25, 30 minutes.
That's awesome.
The closest big mountain was 50 minutes.
Oh wow.
And so whenever there was like a decent chunk of snow, the town that we lived in wouldn't really get hammered that hard. So not every time would schools be closed. And my mom was a trooper because she loved to ski too. My dad is an amazing skier. And so she'd call in the school, say I was sick, and we'd just roll up to the mountain, and Mom and I would go ski for the day. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. A lot of time on the mountain.
I love that. And like, would you say you still do it at least once a year, like once a winter?
This will be the first winter I haven't skied in probably since I was 6 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So, I mean, winter's not done. You can still sneak away somewhere. It's a shame there's nowhere close at all to here.
My rule ever since
perfect north.
Ever since I came back to Indy, was like I won't ski past January.
Yeah. That's smart. Yeah.
Because it's like, I feel like this might be optimistic, but I feel like, if I do a wrist on December 26th,
I'm good by March 1st.
Be fine by St. Pete. If I do a wrist in January 30th, might be tough.
Yeah. It's funny. You talked about like snow days. And obviously, growing up in Toronto, we would have snow days. Snow days were the greatest things ever. I don't know. Tim, did you ever have a snow day living in Indy?
I had one.
Okay.
In the 12 years, because I went to Park Tudor, and they were just like famous for not having snow days.
Oh, okay, so like other kids had more.
Yeah, I was talking to my brother about snow days today, actually, because his kids, they're in Indy, and you guys got like 10 inches of snow. So his kids had a snow day, but they know it's just digital learning days.
So this is what I was getting to.
Awful.
This is exactly what I was getting to. As I read this article that
we were watching the football game. You can go in a second. We were watching the football game last night, and I was just talking to Kelly. I was like, remember when you were a kid and the ticker at the bottom, right?
Yes.
It was just like
yes.
alphabetical order waiting to get to your school closed.
Closures.
And you'd be so happy, but now I guess that's not a thing.
No.
And not only is that not a thing, like, because they don't have proper snow days, everybody also just has the app. Like, if they canceled the school, I would just get a ding on a parent app.
The ticker's still there.
I know, but you would know.
Yeah, but they also have an app. Yeah.
Like, I would know immediately when waking up if Hazel, like, I know when it's a rainy day drop off at her school because the app, like, pings me and lets me know. So, like, everybody's got that now.
I heard about this.
Or when you miss your school and have to wait for it to go all the way back through the alphabet.
I heard about it in the news, and I got so sad because snow days growing up were awesome. They were so much fun. Not only do you get a day off school, you get a day off school because the world is now just covered in amazing fun. And you could just go out in your front yard, your backyard. You don't even have to go anywhere. And you could have so much fun. Go over to your buddy's house. You build igloos. You go skiing. You go like GT snow racer, tobogganing, sledding, whatever. And now just kids don't get to do that. They have all the inconvenience of a ton of snow outside without being able to enjoy it. And I think that's tragic. And I don't support it.
I think they should definitely not do e-learning days. It should still just be a snow day.
I can't wait for you to have to edit this episode because every time you
unmute, it's so loud. It's unbelievable how loud it is.
But James, that ain't our problem.
No, it sure isn't. Speaking of skiing and après, there's a bar there at Jacksonville House called the Mangy Moose, and I just loved the name of it. I just needed to shout out the Mangy Moose for having an incredible name, and actually it was a great bar. If you had a bar, Alex, what would you call it? Have you ever thought about naming a bar?
No. Did you go to $1 Million Cowboy?
We did.
Did you like it?
Went to $1 Million Cowboy. Went to Mangy Moose. Ate at a few places in the hotel, which is really nice. Like, I mean, everything there is super nice, right? Like, it's all cool vibes, but like also not like stuffy. Like it's not Mangy Moose is correct. It's not Aspen. Mangy Moose is exactly what you think it is. Like, it's exactly what it sounds like. But it was a good time. It was a very good time. Dude, did you see anybody in your neighborhood with the snow coming down go outside with a leaf blower to try to clear the driveway?
Lots.
Wow. I was floored at how many people I saw around Indianapolis using snow blowers to clear the snow. Or sorry, leaf blowers to clear the snow.
Dude, like people were making a run on Saturday for like eggs and ground beef and toilet paper. It was like, guys,
and like canned goods.
Are we seriously doing this?
Yeah.
It's 7 inches of snow that's going to be over a 14-hour period. Mm-hmm. You're fine. I will tell you, I drove downtown last night, drove back home last night, and then went to the gym this morning. It's a lot of fun. It's
incredible.
So much fun. It's like playing Mario Kart. I tell you what, there are some absolute imbeciles out there, though. Like
Indianapolis as a city, just loses its mind as soon as it snows. It is hilarious. It's funny because I was out for lunch. I came back and Becky was like, "Oh, I didn't realize we didn't have any paper towel left." I'm like, "I'll go get it. No problem." Like, I was so willing to go back out because it is. You're right, man. It is the most fun, dude. Did you see Pato's stories this morning on Instagram? This kid lives in Indy now. Clearly has never seen snow before. I don't know. Maybe he's just never done it.
Super Mexico / Texan.
Right. So never seen it. Maybe he doesn't ski or I don't know, whatever. So
he goes to the beaches in the winter.
Right. So he was going to the gym and he had a story of him walking from his front door to his car, which wasn't in a garage for some reason, which seems weird. I feel like his house has a garage.
Filled with supercars.
That makes it harder. Okay. That makes sense now. So he had to go drive his snow car and he literally took like 13-gallon garbage, like kitchen garbage trash bags and tied them around his feet and walked to the car.
Oh, I bet that didn't work.
It super didn't work at all. And I'm just like, I texted him. I was like,
boots?
Dude, they're called boots, man. Like you could probably get free pairs from people because you're super famous. Just say you need some snow boots. It's insane. The picture he posted,
super famous. He's not on billboards.
Well, true. Pato who? The picture that I don't know how from his door to his car, he got that much snow in the bags because he showed a picture of what his shoes look like. And it was like he just walked through the snow. Like it should have worked at least kind of. It didn't even work a little bit. So I feel like we should start I feel like we should just go out and how's his face right now?
No, I haven't gotten to that yet. I'm watching this.
Oh, yeah. How he clears his car. That was from yesterday. That's
also, why does he need to clear his hood?
Well, you should do that. That's just
why?
Because it all blows up onto the windscreen and like blinds you.
Windshield wipers are for.
Yeah, but like it causes like a whiteout in front of you. Like the windshield wipers get it.
Part of the fun, bro. I try and go quicker to get a bigger whiteout. I actually try and leave with clearing as minimal spot as possible and then drive looking through a little tiny hole in the windshield.
Yeah, but
so
then
people think that I can't see, but I'm still driving by them at like the
2x the speed limit. Yeah.
No, the speed limit. Okay.
Sure. But also that makes you the when you're driving behind, you can't you're just so much stuff's flying off your car.
Unaffected.
Yeah, it is you. Yeah. That's on brand.
This is the dumbest thing I've seen in a long time.
What an absolute! I mean, bless his heart, he's not known for being a rocket scientist.
Yeah, look. There was some ingenuity in how he was going to get to the car, but it just didn't work out the way he was hoping. So I imagine an investment in boots will be coming. Yes, that means you just have to carry your gym shoes into the car and then into the gym.
I don't think so because this was our biggest snowfall in 3 years and it was 7 inches. So I don't think
it was nice. It was so nice, man. Like I was outside playing around with the dogs and this morning and it was so much fun. I love it so much.
I don't think
I'm very jealous. I missed it by a few days.
No, but like, look, it's Pato. He makes enough money. He should just buy a pair of boots and then he just has them for if this happens once next year. It's worth it. Anyway, back to some racing news. Do we have any racing news? Is there any racing happening?
Not really.
I saw an article
aluminum wheels.
No, we're not getting into that. We covered enough wheel stuff last week.
Did we?
Which apparently went over really well. Apparently our steering wheel segment was a big hit.
I doubt with people that are important.
Well, no. The 8 to 10 people responsible for the wheel probably were not thrilled. But at the other, 100
Did you guys
get
any blowback on that? I'm always wondering because, like, I feel like we find out people listen to this show in IndyCar like enough.
Listen, Tim. We can't get in trouble for telling the truth.
Yes, you can.
That's actually historically not accurate.
But a lot of people get in trouble for that.
Okay, well, I was told wrong as a kid.
It's fine.
Truth does not set you free.
It sometimes really doesn't. It can get you in quite a bit of trouble. It is funny how many people.
As long as we complain in non-letter format.
That is true. Letters are a big no-no. I did find out that Katie Simpson's a big listener of the show. So shout out to Katie.
If only there was like a way you could get like a group of people to like form a formal group. Like you could unite into a thing.
Yeah. You can like
associations.
Yeah,
or like
it's
a guild
it's like
of
to
some sort.
Unionize of some kind. It's like a union of people.
No, don't use that word. Don't
you
use that
can't
word.
say that one. Yeah, that's where you get into trouble, right?
Stop telling the truth, guys. Okay.
So Mike Shank, there's an article saying that MSR is looking at doing fly-in pit crews for their IndyCar
That's a good
program,
topic to talk about.
which I think this is something that's pretty regular practice in the NASCAR world.
What is a fly-in pit crew?
So normally on an IndyCar team, the people going over the wall, the men and women going over the wall, also are mechanics on the cars, right? So it's your front end, rear end mechanics. It's sometimes damper engineers are going over. Someone has another like hands-on job with the car. But a fly-in crew is a dedicated group of people that just come in on a Saturday night.
Ex-college athlete.
A lot of ex-college athletes that just come in on a Saturday night and they don't touch the car outside of pit stops. They're not mechanics. They're not engineers. They're not truck drivers. They're none of that stuff. And this is pretty common practice in Cup specifically. You'll see pit crews, again, a lot of collegiate athletes that train a couple days a week and just fly in on Saturday night, do the race Sunday, go home. And I know it's an idea that's been kicked around in IndyCar by certain teams in the past, but I've never really seen it successfully implemented. I know one team tried it and they really struggled to find athletes that didn't choke in the moment, which is kind of interesting. It's one of the reasons why athletes actually really perform well in these things is they're used to high pressure environments and, competition and the stress of it all. But the one team I know that tried it, that was one of the issues they had was you'd get someone that was awesome in the shop, but struggled to perform under pressure. But that's obviously just they found the wrong people because, again, this happens in Cup all the time. And, again, athletes are used to that. You just got to get them used to maybe having race cars flying around them at 60 miles an hour as an exposed person and still just focus on your job. But I thought it was interesting that they're considering that because I think it's a huge advantage. I think it's a huge advantage. Because
it is. And I think, people might wonder why. And it's a sensitive subject because it's not as simple as, okay, we find X athlete, right? And he or she's just gonna do 12 hours of work and then go home, because you got to take into consideration the emotional connection and the feelings of the men and women that do work on the car, right? A lot of them, whether or not they're good at pit stops, that's like the highlight of their job. Right. And so it's very difficult to find mechanics in IndyCar. It's very difficult to find, it's difficult to find people in IndyCar right now. So you got to be very sure that you're not upsetting the apple cart of the dynamics of your team with your existing mechanics who are not easy to replace by bringing in hotshot A, B, or C, because a lot of these mechanics have been around for quite some time. And whether or not they are good, they believe that they're good because they've been doing it for so long. And so it's kind of like a little bit of a pissing competition that exists in terms of like, well, why should I have to give up, my inside front role when I've been doing it for 25 years to this kid who's never done it before, even though, he can bench more than me and he used to play a linebacker in football. That doesn't mean he's better than me, right? So it is a very difficult dynamic because I was a big proponent of it for quite some time, and honestly, I still am. But hearing the team owner side of it from now 3 different teams, it's very interesting because it's not as simple as you'd like to think. And I think that the NASCAR world is very different because, ultimately, the crew chief is the engineer, and the work that's done on the cars are more, it's more in a repair sense. There's a lot of prep work that goes into building the car at the shop. There's a lot of prep work that goes into tearing the car down post race, but on the weekend, there's not that much work that's done on the car. Whereas in IndyCar, like, these guys are on it from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. every single day, tinkering with the thing, changing setup, doing whatever they have to do. So it's a different environment to have that. So it'll be interesting to see if it does in fact work for MSR, if they are just another team that realizes, hey, that's not the way to go.
So to to address a couple of your points, I agree. Like, it is an emotional connection for a lot of the mechanics. I mean, a lot of them love going over the wall. They love being part of the team on that, side of things and that element. But to the point you just brought up, I mean, sometimes they show up. Let's call a spade a spade. It's going back to can't get in trouble for telling the truth, allegedly. Some of the days, some of the schedules on some of these days that IndyCar has right now are ridiculous. Like some of these later races, or if it's like a night race at an oval and you have to on the Saturday get in at 8 a.m. to practice at 11 to then qualify at 1:32 to then do a warm-up session at 6 o'clock to then tear the cars down and prep them for the race the next day. Some of the days are just so poorly laid out, and it ends up having incredibly long days for these crew guys and girls. And so don't even think about it from a driver standpoint. Don't even think about it from a team owner standpoint. Just look at it from a pure competitive standpoint. Would you not rather have, what would you rather have? Let's not lead the witness. Would you rather have a crew of 7 members that's going over the wall that has put in 2 12 to 14-hour days in the hot weather and all these things, late nights, early mornings, blah, 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 going over the wall to do a physical, cognitively challenging hand-eye coordination a thing where every 10th of a second matters, or a dedicated group of 7 individuals that has trained exclusively for this, is rested, is fed, is stretched, is ready to go to accomplish that same job?
You 100% know my answer. My argument to that is
you'll lose the mechanics.
At what expense? How many mechanics are you willing to lose?
Yeah.
If it's 1, I can probably replace 1. If it's 2 per car, where am I finding 4 mechanics?
Okay. So then the next question is then, are you comfortable with a scenario where you allow every mechanic and you bring in 5 or 6 fly-in pit stop people, and they do a shootout in the shop? And every month, at the end of every month, there's another shootout, and the best 7 get to go over the wall. Is that fair?
It is fair, and it's what McLaren did last year. And aside from Penske, I would say that the 5 and 7 car were the class of the field in terms of like overall average pit stop time and that sort of thing. And that was 100% what they did. It was tryouts. There was a financial incentive to, if you went over the wall, it was your salary that you got plus. There was bonuses attached to, like, if you were the fastest car in pit lane. So there was a lot of reason to want to do it, because not only was there the pride associated with it, but it was a paycheck bump. But you had to earn and keep your spot. Like, it wasn't just a foregone conclusion that, okay,
I love that,
you're a front end guy, so you're changing whatever.
So how often were there changes on the 5 and the 7 car, would you say?
The 5 and the 7 car? I think I ended up having like a switch twice, but it was between 2 people.
So one guy left and then came back, kind of thing, or like was subbed out,
like
and then subbed back in.
Earned the spot back. Yeah.
Yeah.
The 5, I think it was kind of the same thing, maybe 1 extra time. The 6 was tough because the driver rotation and stuff, there was a lot of, that car was a revolving
turnover from top to bottom. Yeah.
Exactly. So,
yeah.
But yeah, very, very limited, because the people were committed. They wanted to be there, and they knew that they had to earn it. So the practicing every single day was not an issue. There was the buy-in to the fitness side of it, and the results were shown on the timesheet at the end of the day.
And that's just it, right? It motivates you to train, whether it's something that the team prescribes or something on your own time, to, if you're, feel like that's not enough, or you're not as quick as the other person for that
Everyone
role.
Responds to competition. Whether you're type A or type B, it doesn't matter. You don't want to show up to a group competitive event and get your kicked. Like, you might be okay with, I finished 5th, and not killing yourself because you didn't win, but no one wants to be the worst. And so there's always going to be that motivation to not be the worst.
And I do really believe that, like, if you work in racing, you're an inherently competitive person, because it doesn't matter what role you have in the team. this job sucks, man. Like, it's not for everybody. It is not like, it's not glamorous. It's not all the things that, Hollywood wants you to think it is necessarily. And you do it because you love the thrill of competition. You love winning. You love being part of a winning team. That's why teams leave the lower teams and go to the bigger teams. It's not because they think the people are nicer. It's because they want to win. And so I've always been a proponent of that, and I think that's a great way to go about it. And so I'm interested to see how the Shank crew kind of organizes that, if that's what they end up doing, and it'll be interesting to keep track of the results throughout the year.
Maybe this is a wrong read on it, but it seems like part of a trend, like IndyCar teams getting less lean. I mean, I know the hybrid added a huge expense, and it seems like more teams are having people with huge amounts of money come in. So it makes sense, like, why a few years ago somebody would be a mechanic on the car and over the wall and maybe drive one of the trucks. But it seems like it's part of the trend of a lot more money getting into IndyCar. Of course, there's going to be separate jobs.
I don't think it's so much less. I see what you're saying. I think everyone, even though as drivers we've realized it, I think now from top to bottom, everyone's realizing how competitive it is.
Yeah.
And how hard it is. So it's like, well, we're spending all this money anyways. What's an extra X to try and give us an edge? Whereas before it was like, well, we should be able, we're so-and-so, so we should be able to get by with cutting that corner because like our cars are just faster. So like if we lose a bit of time in the pit stops, so be it.
It's one of those things, right? I feel like teams have a formula for how much they're willing to spend per tenth of a second gained. And if you can justify that this expense of the extra people will find you an average of 2 to 3 tenths at a pit stop. I mean, 2 to 3 tenths on track, a team would spend $1 million to get that much pace, like just pure pace on track. So if you look at a percentage wise of the budget, what it costs to bring people in and make sure that your pit stops are consistently 2 to 3 tenths quicker than the competition, it seems like easy math. It's a hard one for team owners to get over because that's not how we've done it. And change is always tough. But like, I remember at one point there was an effort to reduce the weight of the car, right? I mean, obviously there's a minimum weight, but if you have a lighter car, then you can put the ballast to get it up to minimum weight in more advantageous places. And so the team I was driving for at the time had this system. It's like, we are willing to spend X dollars per gram or pound or however they broke it up. But it was like very clear. If we can save this much weight and it costs this much money, it was black and white. Yes or no, do it, don't do it. And I just feel like from a lap time perspective, it's probably the same in the wind tunnel. If there's an adjustment to, something, mechanical drag, talk about speedway cars, mechanical drag in the gearbox or in the uprights or something, wind tunnel drag wise, X pounds of drag or X amount of friction removed or whatever, for this cost, for this return, it's a no-brainer, you do it. And this is the same thing, but it's just been a harder one, it seems like, for teams to get on top of how to make work correctly. I don't know. But that'll be an interesting one to follow and watch, because I feel like as soon as one team does it successfully, it is the industry standard within 2 years. Every team will be doing it within 2 years.
Yeah.
Because you can't afford to have any kind of disadvantage.
That is spoken. That is the truth.
All right, I'm available.
Spoken like someone that's
I can
going to
go over the wall. I'll be a weekend
you can try out.
in. Yeah.
I would love to see you try out for one of those positions. If you had to go over the wall, Tim, what
probably
position
be a
would you
decent
want?
fueler.
The fueler sounds fun. I like a risk of fire. I think that'd be the best.
That's a weird thing to like.
I like to live on the edge.
All right.
No,
Yeah,
you
I can
don't.
see you.
It's like Alex driving in the snow.
You literally just said you reversed all the
Yeah,
think
no,
that are
I
in
don't
on No
wanna.
Fun Club. You wouldn't like to.
Mainly, I don't want to do it because then I wouldn't be
You'd
allowed
have
to
to be
drink at the
sober.
race. Yeah,
Right.
I don't want to see a race sober. You guys just go in circles. It's the most boring thing in the world.
Yeah.
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 Here's the worst part. I don't even drive them anymore. I still have to watch every single one of them stone cold sober, and it's
Dude,
getting old.
sometimes when you're in the race, you're bored. If there's like
Yeah.
a 6-second gap front and back, you're just like pounding rock and it's hot. Like it's not, that ain't fun either. Like, let's be honest.
I was trying to joke, but I guess we all hate racing.
No. But there will be like 3 races a year, right, James? Where you're just like, your mind is numb because it's basically just a test session.
Yeah,
And
it's
you're just
either
waiting
you're
till
in
the
that
next
gap.
pit stop cycle.
Yeah. You're in that gap, like you said, where there's just nothing. You're not catching the cars in front, and the guys behind you aren't catching you. Or you've had some issue and you're 2 laps down, and you're literally just driving around for the sake of.
Those aren't boring. You're just furious and angry. Like the ones where you're like 6th, and it's 4 seconds up the road, 4 seconds back. It's been green the whole race.
6 to 9. Everyone's on the same. It's Road America. It's Road America when everyone spreads out and the pit stop windows are 1 lap and everyone's doing the same thing. Like, you're running alternates this stint instead of primaries. Cool. Awesome. And it's the same.
Well, except last year and the alternates at Road America. But
yes, I mean, it's not always like that. But because of the small windows, we can often get that kind of race there.
Oh, well, okay. Let's end on this. It's not announced yet, so we're not going to go into too many details. But there are going to be some changes to quite a few of the races next year in terms of overall length / distance in order to eliminate some of these super fuel safe 2-stop races. Some of that is because of that reason, and also some of it is because Fox wanted some bigger broadcast windows. So I'm not gonna say which events that's going to happen to, but I think it's like 5 or 6. So it's certainly going to change the makeup of some of those races, which I think is super exciting. You know, IndyCar looked into for some of those events changing the fuel capacity that we carry around for everyone. And believe it or not, that's harder to do than you'd think because of the red head fill. So the in race refueling, because that's going in at such a velocity. When you take up some of the free air space by filling it with those rubber balls or whatever, it's basically impossible with the shape of the tank to ever get a full fill. So the tank holds 18 gallons, let's call it almost 18 gallons. And let's say you restrict the capacity to 15.2 gallons. By taking away 2 gallons of that air space, they could only get like 14 gallons in the car. So that was creating a bunch of issues. So what they're doing instead is actually just changing the length of the lap number of races, the lap number in those races. So I think that'll be cool. I mean, it's not a new track, but it'll kind of make those races a little bit new.
100%. And they did this, I think it was Long Beach. They did it to 5-6 years ago kind of thing. They extended it by 5 laps or short. I forget which way they went. I think it was extended it to stop it.
Oh, no,
right. Because it went from
it's like a super easy 2-stop.
Now. Right. But fuel economy wasn't as good. I feel like,
okay.
You know, they wanted to, everyone was 2-stopping it. And so they made it a little bit longer, so that was harder to 2-stop. And
but everyone's still 2-stop.
Yeah. There's not a perfect science to it, right? Because one yellow. Look, here's the thing about that. I gotta throw this out there. One yellow flag and all those calculations go out the window, 100%. Right? So you're still going to have those races happen. It's still going to, fuel saving is a part of IndyCar racing, and I don't think that should change. But I love that they're taking a conscious look at the races where this is consistently happening when we have, especially, green flag races or predominantly green flag races. And it makes the spectacle better. There's nothing cooler when you're a driver, when you're a strategist, when you're a commentator, and when you're a fan, when you have 2 converging strategies coming together at the end of a race. Because it's very hard to have 2 cars on the same everything, just like actually banging wheels back and forth, like trying to. Usually once a guy gets by, that's it. It's sometimes hard to do that. But when you have those 2 strategies, that's when it kind of makes a really interesting closing down as the race ends. Mm-hmm. So I think it's great. And I look forward to seeing how it plays out at said events.
So does Tim with that yawn.
Provided I'm there. Anyway, yeah, so employment will be fun. Hopefully, that'll happen soon. And that'd be neat. Otherwise,
neat. Neato gang.
Have a great Thursday. And shout out to Katie Simpson. And we'll talk to you guys soon.
Hi, Katie. Bye.
This has been Off Track with Hinch and Rossi. Off Track is part of the SiriusXM Sports Podcast Network. If you enjoyed this episode and want to hear more, please give a 5-star rating and leave a review. Subscribe today wherever you stream your podcasts. We are at Ask Off Track on Twitter and Instagram. And if you want to follow us on Twitter, we're at Hinchtown and at Alexander Rossi. If you want to follow Tim, though we have no idea why you would, he's at the Tim Durham on Twitter. Find us on YouTube and subscribe to our channel for exclusive video content. Off Track is produced by Tim Durham, and by that we mean Fim.